ControlUp is excited to introduce SecureDX custom issues, providing you with unlimited options to improve your endpoint security. ControlUp SecureDX comes with a catalog of built-in security scans. These are provided by ControlUp and can be used by any customer without any additional setup or configuration. Many of these security scans come with built-in remediations. Also, ready to use, nothing to set up. But what if a built-in catalog scan doesn't come with a remediation? Most of them do, but not all of them. Or what if the built-in remediation, including patch management, is not working for a customer? Maybe they have a custom patch that they received from a vendor. Maybe they have their own way of doing things. Well, for that we are introducing custom actions. And the first one I want to talk about is the override action. This is basically a custom issue that can either be attached to a built-in catalog scan that doesn't have a remediation built in, or can override an existing remediation in the product. An override action consists of two parts: a remediation script that addresses in case the security scan results indicate that there is an issue, and then to test the remediation, a custom validation script. The second type of custom issue is if there is no built-in scan at all. Maybe there's a particular security compliance configuration that you want to do in your environment that is very custom to your own organization. Maybe it just hasn't been built yet by ControlUp. In this case, we can also create a custom issue which consists of a scan. This would be the endpoint scan using a scan script. And then, if needed to remediate, a custom remediation, again consisting out of a script. So let's have a look at this. Before we create a custom issue, let's have a look at the scripts that I just talked about. So in the DEX interface, we go to the Devices tab and click on Configuration. Now the first thing we'll need to do is go to the Web Console tab and enable SecureDX scripts. In my case it's already enabled, so use the slider, and that will allow us to create scripts that can be consumed by SecureDX. So when I go to the Scripts tab here and I click on Add a Script, you will see that there's a new field for product. And if I change that to SecureDX, obviously there's less options because it will be consumed by SecureDX, either PowerShell or command script. So if I create a script in here, just like you would create a script for our physical endpoint solution HDX, it will be very similar. So let's have a look at an existing script that I already created. I'm going to sort here by SecureDX, and you see that there are various scripts that I already created in my environment. But for example, I can have a look here at our remediation script that we created to install CrowdStrike. And as you see here, this is a script that silently installed the CrowdStrike Falcon agent, and we use that to manually deploy CrowdStrike in this environment. Another example related to that would be the validation that comes after that, which basically will do a check on the Windows device to see if the installation was successful. And we'll use these in the next part where we're going to actually set up a custom issue. And to do that, we will need to switch to the SecureDX tab. And before we create the custom action, let's first look at one of my devices. Now I have existing templates in my environment that already have ran certain scans, and in this case, under compliance, you will see that I'm already running the CrowdStrike Falcon agent test. So this one will check for the sensor, and it has marked it as an issue for this device because CrowdStrike is not installed on the device. So currently it sits under the place where it's supposed to be under compliance. If we check out the template, this is my template for items in the Orlando office. You will see that the scan is already enabled, just like it was before. But as we will also see for this device, you see here that it says that a remediation is unavailable. So we're going to change that. So we're going to click on the configuration button, click on custom issues, and click on add custom issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a custom remediation to a built-in issue. I'm going to give it a name. Then I'm going to select this built-in scan. As we saw, it was under compliance security controls. I'm going to find it. There it is. I'm going to select it. And then I'm going to select the scripts that I already have in my script environment to remediate and validate. So as we saw before, it's now available because this one is a SecurityX script. And we are going to select this one. We can even view it from here in case we want to double check. There it is. And then we need to select the validation script, which is this one. Again, we can have a look at it if we want. And actually, let me pull that back up. What we basically do on the validation with this script is we check if it is installed. If it is installed, it returns true. If not, it will return false. So the expected script output, if the remediation was successful, so it is installed, would be true. We're going to click on the Add Custom Remediation button to finalize this step. And there it is. Now, because we already scanned the device, and because it already detected it as an issue because this is a built-in scan, the only thing that will happen at this point is that when we go back to the device we looked at earlier, it has moved it from compliance to custom. So here we see the built-in scan. What we also see is that a remediation is now available because that is what we added to the custom issue. So let's have a look. We can select it, we can remediate it, and of course remediation can also be done as part of an automated template. Give it a name. There we have it. This is our custom remediation. Now I can do the settings. I can remediate immediately. This is what I want, but I can also do scheduled. I can do options such as automatic restart of the device and a user message. And let's click on submit. And we can of course have a look at the job. It's still pending at the moment. Let's click on refresh. And we see that it updated. It has remediated the issue, the custom issue. If we now go back to the device, it's also no longer under the compliance issue, a little bit lower because remediation worked. Score increased. And we can see that and if we switch to the security controls tab, we also see that CrowdStrike Falcon is now installed. This is European date formatting, so that is today. And confirm that it was correctly installed. Next, we are going to add another custom issue, but this one will be a custom scan and a custom remediation. So we're going to go back to configuration, click on custom issues and click on add custom issue. So in this case, we're going to leave the default create custom issue. Now, obviously there are many use cases that customers could have. It could be related to protecting the device, certain ports. It could be checking for certain configuration settings, for example in the registry. It could be a custom scan for checking for the presence of an application that is not in our catalog, including a remediation to install that application. In this case, for demo purposes, I'm going to keep it really simple, and I'm actually going to check for the presence of a file. So let's give it a name. This could in reality be like a configuration file with certain settings related to one of your security compliance requirements. In this case, I'm going to keep it fairly simple, so let's give it a description as well. So what does this do? Well, it scans for a file in a specific location on the file system, and if not, it can remediate it by placing it there. For a custom issue, I can set my own severity level. For example, I can set it lower or higher, so I'm going to set this to, let's say medium here, 3.6. I can put it in one of the existing categories. So in this case, I'm going to select misconfiguration. Actually, I'm going to set compliance, and I'm going to do a security check. And again, I already pre-created the script. And in this case, it is this one here. So I have a look here. Super simple. It basically checks for this file, files.txt in temp. And if it's there, it returns true. If it's not there, it returns false. So select that. And as I just said, if the file's there, it responds true. I want the file to be there, so that means that it will return true if the issue is not present. If it returns false, then I want to be able to remediate it, and I am going to select my pre-built script. It only does one thing. It places the file there where we just talked about. I can configure if a device restart is required, but in this case I am going to skip that. And I click on Add Custom Issue. And there we have it. Check for presence of file. It is added. Now in this case, because it's a brand new scan and brand new remediation, it is obviously not going to automatically appear like in the previous part of the demo. So let's just go here. As you can see, there's no custom issues, and it's also not listed anywhere else because I haven't actually scanned for this. So for that, I need to first add it to a template. So I'm going to take again one of my existing templates. And I'm going to take this one, I'm going to edit it and go to the scan part. Now I put this under compliance security checks, and there it is. You see the icon is a little bit different than the other ones. The catalog scans are this little globe icon. My custom scans are this icon here, and this is the one I just entered, so I'm going to add that one to my scan. I'm not going to remediate this part of the scan, we're going to do that manually here in a minute. This is when the template runs. It's very early in the morning for me when this one runs on an automated interval. But I don't have to wait for that. Since it's now part of the template, I can go back to the device and initiate a manual scan. So let's do that. Now, manual scan runs typically within 1 minute. It could be instant. It depends a little bit on when the agent last checked in. So we're going to just give this a short while to run. There we can see it is scanning. Just waiting for the scan to complete. And there we see that the scan has completed, and now we see here under custom that there's a new issue, check for presence of file. This is the one that we created, and that scan output was false. So that means that there is an issue and a remediation is available. Now, just to check, I'm just going to jump over to this device and start a remote control session. And here we see, just make it a little bit bigger. I'm here in ctemp. That file doesn't exist, so it should have returned false like it did. So the next step would be to remediate it. Again, I'm doing this manually. This could have been done as part of the template, so automatic scanning, automatic remediation. But for this demo, I'm just going to do it manually. There's my custom remediation. I'm gonna keep the default settings. Click on submit. And as we saw earlier, this script will place the file on the file system. So let's have a look at the remote control session here. And let me just also open the and there we see the file was placed, and we see here in the background, still waiting for the response back. So I did run the remediation already. It's just waiting for the agent to check back in and provide it with an update that it completed the remediation. There we go, it turns green. It has successfully remediated. And now if we go back to the device, we no longer see the issue present under the custom issues tab.